summertime boxing, along with the undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, proud to be your bud, present the featured bout of the evening. This bout is sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard Sr. All the officials at ringside shall remain the same as the last bout. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Atlantic City, New Jersey, let's get ready to rumble! 12 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. This is a title elimination bout. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 228 pounds. His professional record, 32-4, 32 KOs from Safety Harbor, Florida. He's ranked in the top 10, ladies and gentlemen. He is Alex, the Destroyer, Stewart. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red trunks with white trim, weighing in at 212 pounds. His professional record, 28-1, 22 KOs. This 1984 Olympic medalist is a former two-time champion from Atlanta, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the former heavyweight champion of the world, Evander, the real deal, Holyfield. Referee Rudy Battle will give the pre-fight instructions.
Gentlemen, your folks received your pre-fight instructions. Any questions here? All right, I might want a nice, clean contest. Let's touch gloves, touch them up. Let's go to work.
Getting ready to go now as Stewart, who has been 8-3 since the first fight with Holyfield, trying to get over the top in a big fight. And Holyfield, coming off the loss to Riddick Bowe in his last fight, just ran into a bigger man. So the second fight between Holyfield and Stewart is underway. I'm Dave Bontempo. In their first fight, Holyfield started quickly and just sliced Stewart up with his left hand. Finally opening up a cut just above the right eye of Stewart that caused the fight to be stopped. It's always interesting to see how fighters react after having suffered their first loss. Right hand by Holyfield over the top, just misses.
Stay off the back of the head.
Some fighters get bothered a long time after they've had their first setback. They take a long time off and they try to regroup emotionally. And some fighters want to get right back in there. For Holyfield, this is roughly 7 months since the setback to Bowe. So he kind of qualifies in the camp of trying to get right back into action.
Nice and clean, nice.
In their first fight, Stewart was mildly successful with some right hands, which he landed in the mid-round of the fight with Holyfield, but he did not have much success jabbing. Holyfield was faster than Stewart, and there's a nice sneaky uppercut by Holyfield. And one thing you always love about Holyfield is how he can turn on the gas. And he thinks he hurt his opponent. He's driving Stewart back here. Left hook by Holyfield. Right hand by Holyfield. Good opportunity for him here early. He's going for everything. Final seconds of round one, and it has been an exemplary round for Holyfield.
Round two.
We start round two. Evander Holyfield and Alex Stewart. Holyfield, the former heavyweight champion, in the red trunks. He was not yet champion when he fought Stewart roughly 4 years ago. He was on the verge of a major championship battle, which he eventually got. Not against Mike Tyson, as he expected, but against Buster Douglas, who had shocked Tyson in Japan. Holyfield storming Stewart, as he did in their first fight. Body shot uppercut here by Holyfield. So then Holyfield beat Douglas. And he put some nice major wins under his belt before the last fight against Bo, who was just too big for him. It was a good fight. Jab and a right hand by Holyfield. And Stewart cut. It's the left eye this time for Alex Stewart. Left hook by Holyfield. Continues with the jab. It will be interesting now. Will we see more right hands from Holyfield, because the cut is on the opposite side as in their first fight? Holyfield stalking as he did before. Excellent intensity by Holyfield. Already opened up one cut on Stewart and going for more. Stewart facing trouble even earlier than last time. Good hook to the body by Holyfield. It's messy for Stewart. His corner will be challenged between rounds. So Holyfield on his game again as we come to the end of round two.
Round three.
We start round three. Evander Holyfield and Alex Stewart. Holyfield off to a blazing start. He cut Stewart early above the right eye in this fight. Not to the left eye in this fight. It was the right eye in the previous fight. And Stewart's cut men already facing a stiff challenge. Holyfield right on Stewart here. What the corner people do, they apply pressure and they have a coagulant. They can do a good job during the 60 seconds, but it is up to the fighter to let that set in. He needs to go a round or so without getting hit there. And it's a major obstacle.
Get off the head. Get off that head.
And if you're trying to avoid getting hit in a certain spot for a round or two, it is interesting to see what kind of tactics you might try. You stay away, do you run? You get in close, do you smother your opponent? I think the best choice is to make yourself scarce if that's possible. Stay out of range as Stewart comes in with an uppercut here. Because even if you get in tight, your opponent can rub his elbow or his gloves in your face and open up the cut again. Right hand coming from Holyfield. Stewart needs to uncork something in anger. He's being sliced up by a surgical guy who was patient. Now, unlike a lot of heavyweights, the bigger guys, Holyfield is not a lean on you and throw one punch kind of guy. He will jab you crazy, keep it in your face, and then throw something. He is so quick that he doesn't give you any time off. And he is in good form again at the end of round 3. We start round 4. Evander Holyfield and Alex Stewart hooked up in their second battle as heavyweights, about 4 years apart. Holyfield captured the first one via stoppage, primarily cuts. Then went on to capture the heavyweight championship, which he lost a few months back to Riddick Bowe. He's now 28-1. Alex Stewart was 24-0. Now he's 32-4. Rudy Battle warns the fighters against holding and hitting. There's a sneaky little right hand by Stewart. Good hook to the body by Holyfield. Stewart engages, and they trade in the middle of the ring. Jabbing a right hand by Holyfield. As you might suspect, a few years later, Holyfield looking more muscular to me than he did 4 years ago, as he was coming up from the cruiserweight division, coming into the heavyweight ranks, keeping his speed and developing muscle and power. Holyfield and Michael Spinks in recent times surprising the boxing world by being able to come up from where they did and win heavyweight championships. Spinks, of course, won his against Larry Holmes. So Holyfield continues to throw good hooks to the body and jabs effectively as we come to the end of round 4. We start round 5 between Evander Holyfield and Alex Stewart. The fight coming from Atlantic City, New Jersey. I'm Dave Bontempo. Glad you're enjoying this one with us as Holyfield, the former champion, has been taking it to Stewart from the start. The only good thing for Stewart has been the work of his cut men. Corner has done a nice job helping him close a nasty cut that opened in round 1. And he helped secure their efforts by protecting that eye. Jab and a right hand coming through by Holyfield. And you see when he comes through with 2 like that, Stewart can't time it. If you're Stewart, you'd like to throw a couple shots inside the jab after Holyfield fires the jab. You'd like to come inside and land a couple. But Holyfield puts the right hand instantaneously behind the jab so often. And then he's out. Good body shot by Holyfield. There's the jab by Holyfield from a different angle, as he is now starting to give Stewart more trouble with the left eye. He's firing the jab from a different side, so it's the jab getting in there where that cut is. There's a hook from Holyfield. Good combination here from Holyfield. Just continues to go to work. He has been backing Stewart up pretty much the whole way. And another good round for Holyfield will come to a close.
Round 6.
We start round 6 as Evander Holyfield in the red trunks, dominating Alex Stewart. Holyfield has just seemed to have Stewart's number in these 2 fights, spaced about 4 years apart. It also shows how you work your way up the ladder and then you often find a spot where you level off. As you look through Stewart's career, when he came up, he was beating guys with losing records, and then he started to fight journeymen with winning records and beat them. And then he faced Holyfield, and that was the beginning of the leveling off process for him. He lost that fight, and although he did win 8 more, he lost to Tyson, Michael Moorer, and George Foreman between the first and second fights with Holyfield. And so it's good for him that he's kept himself in the mix this long. But Stewart continues to have all kinds of problems in these kinds of fights.
Get off him. Get off him. Turn him down. Get off. Go on.
Holyfield, meanwhile, showing no ill effects from the fight with Riddick Bowe that cost him his championship a few months back. It was a convincing decision loss against a bigger man who was on his game that night. And Holyfield just came in here and has gotten right back to form. So some boos in the arena. Stewart not able to do much as Holyfield puts another good round in the books.
Round 7.
As we move into round 7, can Alex Stewart get anything started against Evander Holyfield? It has been dominance by Holyfield from the beginning. And it indicates what a different dynamic it is when you have a guy coming up from the cruiserweight division as Holyfield has, and he brings his speed with him. When you're in with the faster guy as Stewart is, it's not like you're going against a classic heavyweight where you can wait, maybe set up a big shot, and you know your guy will slow down and get tired. The pace of this fight from the Stewart perspective is acceleration mode. And he's just not fast enough for Holyfield. We're in the 7th round, action coming from Atlantic City. I'm Dave Bontempo, and you're watching Holyfield. Former heavyweight champion who expects to be a champion again. He continues to press, and Stewart looking to time a right hand. Scores one there. What he needs to do, though, is once scoring that right hand, take a chance, get inside, fire a hook to the body. He hasn't shown any one-punch power to make Holyfield fear him. It's a pretty good uppercut by Stewart. Jab by Holyfield. And a nice, good left hook to the body by Holyfield as he displays a lot. We come to the end of another round.
Round 8.
We begin round 8 between Evander Holyfield and Alex Stewart. Holyfield in the red trunks, the former heavyweight champion, looking to get back on track in his first fight since losing to Riddick Bowe a few months earlier. Stewart trying to find lightning in a bottle now, as he has been out-hustled and out-muscled in this fight. Mentioned before that there've been some boos filtering from the crowd, and part of the reason for that is this is a pro-Stewart crowd coming from Brooklyn, New York, just a couple hours away from Atlantic City, and they have come in with high expectations. And they're looking to see him display more urgency. Holyfield continues to be elusive and then start off with the jab, double jab. When you look at Holyfield, you get an idea of what happens when you use your jab effectively. That's his calling card. And it helps you not only keep your opponent away, but it can help you win rounds when not a lot happens. Holyfield trying to load up the hook now, and Stewart turns his shoulder. But all he gets is a right hand from Holyfield on that vulnerable spot just above the left eye. There's that right hand by Holyfield into the vulnerable area again. Turns it up. Moves in with the hook. Round 9 underway. Evander Holyfield not only in control of Alex Stewart here, but he landed some big shots in round 8. He loaded up. Got a lot of leverage driving through his hips. Scored with some big hooks and some big right hands. Right on a sensitive area above the left eye of Stewart. So it's a danger area for Stewart. Not only the fact that he's been dominated, but now Holyfield is teeing off with impunity. There's a good right hand by Holyfield. You just don't seem to see Stewart able to put a couple of good shots together. He fires a right hand and gets it in and tries to follow up. The second shot is tentative. Meanwhile, for Holyfield, the rhythm continues. Double jab, move. Come in when you sense weakness. And the interesting thing is, for Stewart, look where Holyfield's left hand is. There's a chance there for Stewart if he could time a right hand. And then on other occasions, you see Holyfield keep the left hand up and score with double jabs. Right hand by Holyfield, had a lot on it. Good hook to the body from Holyfield. So Holyfield continues to unleash a clinic at Stewart's expense as we come to the end of round 9.
Round 10.
We start the 10th round, scheduled for 12 between Evander Holyfield and Alex Stewart. Holyfield, the 1984 Olympian, is 28-1 and a former heavyweight champion. Stewart from New York, just a couple hours up the road from Atlantic City, where this fight is taking place, is 32-4. After beginning his career 24-0. And thus far, Stewart has received a drubbing. Holyfield has peppered him with jabs, scored some good hooks to the body, landed some hard overhand rights right above the left eye of Stewart. Nobody's been down. If you joined us late, Stewart was in early trouble with a cut above the left eye, but his corner did a very nice job in closing it, and then he's done a nice job keeping it out of play for the most part. That's the good news for Stewart. The bad news is he's been in with somebody with infinite more speed. And Holyfield also has so much in terms of ring smarts.
Hold up.
He knows when and how to gamble and doesn't leave himself as open to being hit with a big shot as other heavier punchers who like to load up and go for a knockout. Holyfield continues to walk Stewart down. Anytime there's a little life out of Stewart, the crowd gets into it, but his people have had little to cheer about as we come to the end of round 10. Round 11 underway. Evander Holyfield in the red trunks has looked sharp right throughout in this rematch against Alex Stewart, whom he defeated roughly 4 years ago. Stewart has been able to do very little. Good hook by Holyfield. You see Stewart get into his punches there and get everything on them, but having no effect on Holyfield. Good right hand by Holyfield as he digs in. Stalking Stewart. Good right uppercut by Holyfield. Stewart not able to get much going with that right hand as he tries to lean in and get some leverage. His punch just doesn't have the same effect on this level. as it did against the guys against whom he came up against. Good left hook by Holyfield. Body shot by Holyfield. Hook again by Holyfield. Nice right hand by Holyfield as he goes to work. Driving Stewart back. Looking for the big uppercut. Instead, he went to the hook. Stewart holding him off and holding on, but has show offensively for this round and for much of the fight. He tries to get it going here, but just not enough as we come to the end of round 11. Final round action, Evander Holyfield going against Alex Stewart in what has been a dominating performance for him. Holyfield, 28-1. Former champion, lost his belt to Riddick Bowe. Figures he'll get a shot to get it back. Stewart is 32-4. Rapidly closing in on 32-5, unless he can do something here. He needs the miracle shot. Jab by Holyfield. A hook by Stewart. Not the urgent 12th round you might expect from Alex Stewart for somebody who needs a knockout. Hook by Holyfield. This has been one-sided from the start, as was their first fight. Holyfield has Stewart's number. And for Alex Stewart, venturing back into the big fight spotlight has not been fruitful, as Holyfield tees off in the last half minute of the fight. This one is on its way to the judges, and it should be a formality. So the boos are up as the Stewart fans hope they would see more from their guy. And Holyfield managed to take Stewart's crowd out of it with a workmanlike performance. He put pressure on, got a good-sized lead, and then coasted home. So that's how this one ends. It will go to the scorecards, and let's get them now from Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards. Eugene Grant's score is about 119 to 109. Frank Brunette and Al DeVito score it 118 to 110 for the winner by unanimous decision, Evander, the real deal, Holyfield.
So Holyfield wins it in lopsided fashion. I'm Dave Bontempo. See you.